Hi, I'm George. This is Dave, and we're coming to you from Acme Guitar Works, and we wanted to tell you about this guitar that we've hot-rodded. This is a Fender classic 70s Stratocaster. So this is one of the classic series guitars that are made in Mexico. Fender's Mexican reissue guitars are all part of the classic series. So they make a 50s Strat, a 60s Strat, or a 70s Strat. In the 70s Strat you can get in either rosewood or maple. So this is a natural finish. It comes with a white pickguard from Fender. We think it looks absolutely beautiful with the tortoiseshell pickguard. This one has a particularly nice body. It's a three-piece ash body, but they did a pretty good job of the grain all looking pretty, pretty consistent in terms of its pattern and coloring and everything. Well, I think the guitar looks fantastic, frankly.
Yeah, it does.
So the deal is that we pull these guitars out of the box, and they're really good building blocks. They're great guitars, great prices, and by the time we're done with them, we've put some labor into them, we put some parts in them. The price goes up, but they turn into really fully realized and fantastic guitars for very reasonable prices. So I'm going to tell you what we did to this guitar, and then Dave is going to play it and you'll be able to hear it. This guitar, in terms of the playability, we did the frets. This guitar comes with a 7 1/4 inch fretboard radius and vintage fret wire because it's a reissue. So the reissues, they're consistent with the way the guitar would have come back in the 1970s. We do a fret level crown and polish on the frets because we want to get the action as low as we can, and the only way to do that is to make sure that the frets are properly leveled, and so we do that. The guitar plays really well. We also adjust the nut slots so that the guitar plays properly down here, but because we have to remove the nut to do the frets anyway, we thought, well, we'll go ahead and replace the nut with a bone nut. And we are pretty much doing this on every guitar these days because it allows us to ensure that the string spacing is very consistent from one string to the next. We've got to cut the fret slot depth anyway if we were doing the stock nut, so we might as well do that on a bone nut. And that way we've got a premium material for the nut, which bone is a very traditional material, but you wouldn't normally see it on a guitar at this price point. Usually it's something you'd see on, something at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. We replaced the bridge on this guitar with a Callahan bridge. Callahan makes really nice hardware. This bridge is made like the original bridges. It's got a solid steel inertia block, premium machining, and it's just a really high quality bridge. The steel inertia block is a nice tonal upgrade. These guitars ship from Fender with a cast zinc block, which is done for cost savings. It's always cheaper to cast a part than it is to machine a part. But Callahan, of course, is doing it the way they did it back then. It's a machined solid steel block. And again, the guitar, the bridge is just a really nice piece. We also put in raw vintage tremolo springs, which you can't see, but they're the springs that go in the back. And raw vintage has some that are a lower tension than the stock springs are. And so we put those in, and that just gives the tremolo a little nicer, sort of softer feel. So as far as the electronics, we have definitely made some changes there. This guitar has Fat Boy pickups. So Fat Boy is a company in the UK. They're in the Isle of Wight, and they're making these pickups now. This is their 68 NOS set. We thought that would be fitting on a 70s Stratocaster, only a couple of years early. But it's a nice hand-wound reproduction pickup set, reverse wound middle pickup, so you do get hum canceling in the 2 and the 4 positions, and they sound great. Dave was playing with it a few minutes ago. Nice sounding set of pickups. The wiring's a little different. ordinarily you would have the bridge, and then the bridge middle, and then the middle, then the neck middle, and then the neck. That's still the case here, but what you may not be able to see on the video very well, there's a little push button switch here, and when I push it in, I get these two pickups in parallel, and when it's out, it's the middle. So with it out, it's just a normal Strat wiring. It only affects the middle switch position, and again, it toggles between either the middle or the neck and the bridge. So you can get that Telecaster in between setting, you know, to the extent that a Stratocaster is able to sound like a Telecaster. We also do the tone controls a little differently. We use a super switch in here. It's a narrow super switch that we have made, so it works with the push button switch. Which we do manufacture. The difference with the tone controls is that ordinarily in a Strat, this is for the bridge and middle on most modern Stratocasters. On the vintage, it would have just been for the middle. The problem is, let's say that you're in the bridge position, you say, man, I want to roll off a little treble. So you roll off a little bit of treble. Now you come to the 2 position, your bridge middle. You may not want the treble rolled off there. In fact, most people don't. Well, your treble is still rolled off because this tone control is still active. So what we've done is we've dedicated this tone control not to the bridge pickup, but to switch position 1. In switch position 1 only, this tone control is active. In switch positions 2 through 5, this tone control is active. So if you do this, roll off a little treble in the bridge in position 1, when you go to the 2, it's unaffected because this tone control is no longer active.
That's a great idea, because I've had that problem where then as soon as I've come up to this position, it's just been a little too dull.
Yeah.
You know, having that tone rolled off.
Right. So it's a cool functional wiring. Oh, and of course the other thing I sort of briefly glossed over it was the tortoise. Man, the tortoise on this guitar, it just makes all the difference. Of course, all of the original parts, the complete pickguard with all of the original electronics and all that stuff, ships with the guitar. But this is a really nice guitar and gorgeous, I think.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Okay, so right there we're in the middle and bridge. We'll go to the middle. Switch in. And that brings it to bridge and neck pickup.
sounds great.
Yeah, sounds really good.
No, and your playing is part of it, man.
Oh, thank you. Okay, let's put a little bit of dirt on this. Go to the bridge pickup. Neck pickup. Middle. And with it out is
Single coil.
single coil. Put a little more gain on it.
Great guitar. You know, this guitar sounds good. It looks great. Plays great. It's really a good guitar. The price is very reasonable. We have guitars like this all the time on our website for sale. And if you don't see something on our website that you're looking for, you want something else, give us a call, and we'll be happy to make you something that floats your boat. So thanks for watching.